Hello, and welcome to another episode of Waking Up, conscious discussions about our changing reality. And I am blessed to have my guest this is her second appearance on the show, Wendy Rose Williams. She is amazing. And let me just tell you, I'm going to run through her bio really quickly before I tell you what this show is going to be about. It's going to be pretty amazing. Wendy Rose Williams had two near-death experiences in 1997 while she was pregnant. She met her angels for the first time while home alone, lying unconscious on the floor, and then again the night before her surgery. Meeting her soulmate in 2010 that Wendy contracted with to help her wake up spiritually led her to Dr. Michael Newton's Journey of the Souls. These two events in tandem triggered a rapid spiritual awakening and a wild ride as they worked to resolve their 21 shared lives. Wendy is consciously aware of more than 125 of her own past lives. The remarkable difference in Wendy's life from healing her own energy inspired her to heal others and to help them release the pain, anxiety, and depression that no longer serves them. Wendy trained with Dr. Brian Weiss of Many Lives, Many Masters and other leading experts to learn and facilitate past life regression and future progression healing sessions. She is a certified spiritual teacher, Reiki Master Energy Healer, a past life regressionist, and a channel for Mary Magdalene. She's also a published author as well as a co-host for her podcast called Waking Up Spiritually. And Wendy, you have some special information for us, I just know. Wendy we're going to have Wendy channel Mary Magdalene. And we're just going to kind of see what Mary has, what messages she has for humanity. And Wendy, you want to can you kind of maybe explain what's the channeling is? For those who are kind of new to this, can you kind of explain sort of like your process, maybe?
Absolutely, the background to that.
Yeah.
Yes, and thank you for that lovely introduction and for having me as your guest, Carolyn. I appreciate being here. So many of us have formed agreements, soul contracts before we incarnate. And I, to my surprise, about maybe 8 years ago, found out that I had an agreement to channel Mary Magdalene as well as Yeshua and Mother Mary. And I was really heartened and felt that was a great privilege. And honestly, it also felt very overwhelming. I remember saying at the time, oh my goodness, could I not please have an obscure river god? Not someone so well known, because I just didn't want to get it wrong.
Yeah.
So it just felt like it had weight to it as well as privilege. So what I did was I sat with it for quite a while. And then I had a great opportunity to formally train with a channel that I really respected and just related to very, very well. So I worked with that spiritual teacher, whose name is Karen Downing, and did several years of channeling training with her. And to my surprise, I thought it would be, listen to Karen channel and then get some coaching and then start doing it myself. Instead, the bulk of that 2 years was spent on releasing fear and balancing my ego, because that was what was needed for me to become a clear channel and to be able to do what I had agreed and contracted to do.
Yes.
So that was a surprise for me, but that's how it all came about.
Yes. Yeah. And that's a really good point. Many people who want to, get into the spiritual, field and all this, it's kind of like, well, that is really wonderful. And yes, I'm sure, if it's your calling, go for it. But, you're going to have to do a lot of inner work. clearing yourself, aligning yourself, preparing yourself to be able to take in this information, to understand, to assimilate, if you're doing the channeling work, if you are, healing the self, being for instance, I'm a spiritual life coach. So everything that I am, I wish for others, I'm on that road. I have been traveling that path, finding new ways, and doing all of this incredible healing. And, and when it is your calling, as you know, it's just, it's profound. It's amazing. I mean, I see myself when I've finally figured something out and healed something. I'm like, oh, that was amazing. It's my soul self saying, oh, aren't you glad we did this? And I'm like, yes. So yes, it is, it's the ascension. It's, you have to do your own ascension process during.
Yes.
And it's both painful and beautiful at the same time. So you're embracing it.
That's a great summary, because yes, we have to raise our vibration. We've just got to cleanse and do that purification.
Mm-hmm.
And the ascended masters, the angels, whomever it is that we are choosing to channel, because this is by mutual agreement. I mean, they are lowering their vibration, so we're then like meeting somewhere in the middle. Is my belief of how that process works best.
Mm-hmm.
Because we certainly don't want to be randomly channeling, any being that just, tugs at our coattails.
Mm-hmm.
as they go on by. It's a very conscious agreement and process for me.
Okay. And now this is another good point, is that there are also negative entities out there who will just kind of come by, if you're not aware and prepared, can say, oh, I am speaking for Mary Magdalene, or I am speaking for, Archangel Michael, or something like that. So can you kind of maybe elaborate on that? Because a lot of people are not aware that they have to be very, very careful. And
there can be a pretender, there can be an imposter. So the litmus test for me, the way you can discern, is listen to that voice for a moment. And certainly you want to be doing your own daily spiritual practice so that you are grounded, you're clearing your energy, you're raising your vibration every day. And with that comes discernment, and just having that confidence and that intuition, and knowing your higher self is in your body and is going to be able to discern what is for you and what is not for you. And it's just that simple. And you can just take a deep breath, put your hand on your heart, maybe close your eyes. And if you're listening to that voice or that message for a moment, if you feel any fear, if you feel any concern, if you feel any willy-nillys, just, the hair standing up somewhere on your body, that's not for you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I would just send that off to the light, and just raise your vibration and move away from that. That's not something for you to get involved with, is my take on that.
Mm-hmm.
That would be the personal practice I would follow.
Yeah.
Use your cell phone as an example. I personally choose to answer calls where the caller is identified to me. I know who is calling, because there's just a lot of random calls come through.
Yes.
And I don't need to pick up all those calls. If I didn't happen to have that number already entered, well, then they're welcome to leave a voicemail. And then I'm going to, return that call, and then I'm going to add them to my phone book.
Mm-hmm.
But most of the random calls that are coming through, they're not something I need to spend any time and effort on, and call screening is appropriate.
Yes, that's wonderful.
So maybe that's a good practical analogy, just because
it really is. It really is. But I think this is really important to talk about this, because so many more people are awakening, and they are able to hear, and sense and communicate with spirit. And if they're not prepared, then they can be taken advantage of. Just like they're
Yes.
being taken advantage of in the physical world, they can also be taken advantage of in the lower realms of the spiritual,
Yes.
dimensions as well. So,
So again, just going within and knowing that you are safe, you are loved, you are very wise,
mhm,
and just really trusting your own intuition, your own higher self, however you relate to
mhm,
the divine, and just having that good, practical common sense, because it's not about going around in fear all day, every day. That just, or anxiety, that just lowers our vibration. And it's not about just, refusing to answer any call, because
mhm.
guess what? There's some fantastic surprise calls that come through,
Oh, yeah.
whether it's in our email or our phone rings or we bump into someone. And there's just marvelous things that happen that we didn't know were coming up. And we
Mhm.
want to be open to those. So again, the key is just that discernment.
Yes, yes. And also what I teach too is the going within, aligning with your divine truth and that source, the truest source of creation, the pure source of creation. And what I find too is that when a being approaches me, I started to do this just unconsciously, and I started paying attention. How am I doing this? But it's just the way that my soul is, because I'm very fluid within the dimensions. But I tend to kind of like almost extend my feelers out, and I'm touching their energy and understanding who they are, and those who are supposed to come to me, I know immediately. Oh, yes, even though I don't know them, but my soul energy is saying, oh, yes, I remember you. You're my best,
Alignment,
you're my good friend. And so I think
recognition.
a lot of times you'll have some kind of recognition like that, and it will feel good. It will feel, very familiar, and that type of, thing too. So, just kind of add to what you were also saying as well. So yeah, and I think being grounded too, being very grounded and centered and aligned, it
Absolutely.
will help.
Because we're here in a physical body, we're here on this
Mhm.
planet at this time. So
Yes,
let's just really see the privilege of that and just make the most of that. Really
excellent.
be here now.
Yes, yes, yes. So, what I think, let's just kind of go into, if you're ready, Wendy.
Absolutely. Let's invite Mary Magdalene in, the Ascended Master, and you'll just see me close my eyes. You'll see me go quiet for a moment as I invite her in. And then let's just have a conversation,
Okay.
because I know she's been wanting to come in for about 2 weeks because she's knowing that we were going to do this. So she's just been
Oh,
preparing and just very, honored to have
oh,
the moment. So let's just do that. So
okay.
let me just close my eyes and just take a couple breaths. And I'm inviting in Ascended Master Mary Magdalene. Please allow me to be a clear channel for you. Please grace us with your presence and share your loving wisdom and support for humanity at this time. Yes, how may I be of service? What would you like to discuss? I'm just so honored that you've invited me in.
Oh, hello, Mary. I am honored that you are here. That for your presence and for your assistance for humanity, and especially during this difficult time that we are all experiencing here on Earth. So I kind of would like um, to talk a little bit about that. About right now there's so much chaos happening in so many ways on this planet. So I'm I'm asking you to convey some kind of, I guess, a message to humanity about what's really occurring, because most often what we're seeing and being told is something very different than what's really happening.
Yes, what we're experiencing, and it's hard to see because we're such in the messy middle at the moment. But what you're seeing is Mother Earth has just worked tirelessly and bravely to raise her vibration. And she did so up to 5D, up to the fifth spiritual dimension, which is that place of love and peace and joy. And she did that back with the shift on back in December of 2012 with the astrology that changed. We moved into a feminine age, we moved into an age of Aquarius, and many citizens, many souls, many people on the planet had already made that shift in preparation and were able to move with her. We see these shifts, these raising of vibration that mankind is able to accomplish coming in waves, in groups, so to speak, because it's just easier to accomplish that way. And many people are not aware of it. They're not aware that they're beautifully raising their vibration by aligning with their higher self, by transmuting any remaining karma, by opening their Kundalini life force energy. I mean, these are some of the things that are part of and really healing our hearts, moving into that place of love and dispelling so much fear and scarcity. So, all this has been going on for a long time, and it doesn't look like it. But I am here to tell you peace is attainable on this planet. And it's interesting that I tell you this on a full moon when a lot of people are feeling just the horror of the recent invasion of Ukraine and just questioning how that can happen. And the peace absolutely is here. There's something called the heaven on earth energies, which are peace and love and joy. And anything and everything you can do to do your own work, to find those within yourself and to choose them every day, that is just going to mirror out to those around you and allow peace to be truly, truly attained on the planet. So I know that was perhaps long-winded, so please
Oh,
redirect me and ask any questions in follow-up. I hope I'm on track with what you wanted to discuss.
yes, thank you very much. That was wonderful. Where is humanity? Well, I was going to ask, where is Mother Earth along her ascension process? I know you said that she's experiencing 5D, but are there aspects of herself, of her physical body, that is still going through the healing? And is that part of what you're
Yes,
seeing as well?
that's a very astute question. Yes, she has to heal herself from things that are not sustainable for her long term. So Earth has been rebirthing herself, and some of that looks very cataclysmic, and it really can be. It can be the volcano explosion. It can be the flooding, the fires. So there have been some really, really big things going on with climate change and with what looks like just incredibly wacky weather, concerning weather and climate changes. And what was that old expression? You can't fool Mother Nature.
Yeah.
She's she's a self-correcting system, and some of it is quite brutal, but it is for the bigger picture. It is to continue to have the planet be viable, for herself and for all who live on her, not just people, but the animals, the trees, the waters. I mean, everything is sentient. It has a consciousness, even though people have not been too quick to step to the plate with that and realize it. But it is happening in some places. There's a river in India, I believe, that was granted legal rights as being sentient, and that just allows environmental laws to protect it, because water is life in many ways, and you've also got to have appropriate food. You're not breatharians. You don't live on clean air alone. So at this point, you've got to have clean food and clean water, and also sustainable temperatures. It's not comfortable or doable to have these increasing temperatures all the time.
So as Mother Earth is going through her corrections, she will naturally come into balance again with the temperature, with the craziness and of the weather and all that we're
Yes,
seeing. Okay.
yes, there's going to continue to be corrections. There are so many angels here. There are so many ascended masters. There are so many nature spirits. There are so many beings of light that are here to help Earth with her ascension and to help mankind. But each person has a choice. Are they going to do their work, or are they not going to do their work? Are they going to buy into the negative news media programming? Are they going to buy into the doom and gloom reports, so to speak, and live their life from fear and from reaction and from retaliation? Or are they going to stand up and fully be in their power in a very beautiful, peaceful way? That is the question. I mean, that is the turning point we're going through. And each person individually has their free will, and they get to decide what they believe and what they're going to do, and make those decisions from day to day to day.
Wonderful, wonderful. You mentioned the media, and I believe that it is part, it's part of the programming, the ego programming, because we agreed, this is a reality based on duality. So on some level, we all agreed to this little game. I like to refer to it as a type of game,
It's a great analogy. Yes.
an experience where we find ourselves again through forgetting who we are, and by experiencing the opposite of who we are. And it's a way for the soul to grow its wisdom. So, but as we created this reality long ago, or decided to do this, we also have those who are the opposite, playing the bad guys, because we needed to have something to bump up against. And we could start with the fallen angels, and there were other beings that came in and began to do things that would create the opposite of our divine truth, which was rooted in fear. And it has expanded and expanded. And now, people, they see that as that is their reality, so they turn on the news or they look at the media, and they are pulled into this war, and they're pulled into all of these, the cataclysms or whatever, but currently it is, the war. And to me, I mean, if you let me know if you agree, I believe that we have to unplug from all of those stories, come back to self, come back into alignment to find what the real story is within ourselves and do the healing. And on top of that, that those wars and everything that they are saying, is wrong with us, or they're creating, is also a reflection of the wounds within ourselves. So I see it as we are fully responsible for what's happening in our outer world. And if we stop placing blame and putting our energy out there, and instead coming back in within the self and taking care of what is it in myself that is at war.
Absolutely. Don't be a victim. And the news programming, it's very sophisticated, it's very seductive, and many people were raised to believe that they needed to watch an hour or more of it a day to be, quote, informed. But we live in a very different time now. You can look for your information as you're guided to, and you don't need to have it spoon fed to you on someone else's agenda. We all live in such an amazing information age. That's again going back to one of my earlier points about discernment. We've got to really choose what we're going to ingest, what we're going to spend time with. So think, how do you feel after you spend an hour watching the local news, where you're just being pummeled with 99% negativity and problems, and it's being presented as a service to you, versus how would you feel if you spent an hour watching your favorite comedian, or like a sweet old movie or program that you just love and find uplifting, and watch something from the 1950s or the 1960s, or whatever era, whatever program? How would you feel? And just compare that, and I think your answer is there.
Yes,
Because
that is exactly what I do. I go back to the old programs.
yes, yes, and it's
Because,
it's it's a beautiful time
yes,
because you have so many services, and what I'm going to say now may surprise many of you, but we as ascended masters, we spend a lot of time reading, reading current things, and looking at YouTubes, looking at movies and programs available to you. And that it's part of how we stay contemporary, and or how we're able to still relate to what's going on, because it is that mass consciousness, that collective consciousness in many ways. And there are wonderful, wonderful podcasts and uplifting books you can be reading, and shows and programs. So it's your choice, it's your free will.
yes, yes. Thank you for that. And it's funny because sometimes I do feel, being observed, because they're so curious. And they
Absolutely.
want to know because it's important for
Wendy
them.
notices that too, and her dog, she has an 11-month-old puppy, and her puppy is not quite used to all the wonderful beings of light in Wendy's home. And often when she picks up a book or she picks up her Kindle, we look at the cover of it and then we're reading over her shoulder. And Henley, her dog, is barking because she's noticing us coming in, to enjoy that moment. Like right now, we guided Wendy to read Anna, grandmother of Jesus. So we come just like rushing in because we want to talk with her and enjoy that moment when she's reading that book, and her dog really notices us come in. So
Mhm.
you're right, your perception's right on.
Yes, and also I've noticed too that they love to see when we do have our aha moments, our moments of clarity, and all of a sudden you remember something really significant, and it's almost like, ooh, there's a celebration going on.
Yes, please take those moments to celebrate and just really open your heart and feel it, feel the emotions, feel it all throughout your body. because yes, we not only want to celebrate those moments with you, but it helps us. We're then learning, because we might have tried 400 times, 400 different ways to have you remember something or connect certain dots. And as you learn, we learn how you learn and how you discern. So that's why the celebration is there. It's
Yes,
twofold.
that's interesting. My guys have shown me the same thing, is that, and the perception that, that our guides and angels and God, that they are the answer to everything, and that you are our guide and leader. And and to the point where they're not making decisions unless they get a nod or an okay or something like that. What I have discovered is that that's not the way it's supposed to be. That everyone is here as a team, guiding, assisting, but we here on this planet are the captains of this physical reality, that we are the ones making those choices and decisions, for ourselves, for our life path. And I, they've also shown me that what we are learning and the way that we are learning is benefiting all of creation. Just as you said, they're learning, oh, that's the way to teach them. Oh, that's the oh my goodness. But yet I think that creation is still the creation is expanding through our own different choices and the way that we arrive at certain things. And to me, we are all part of creation. So we are always in a state of expanding and wanting to learn more and to become more. And so I just think it's really, a neat thing to know is that we are, as human beings, we're not just nothings. We're actually, we are the ones who have to steer the ship. And
Absolutely.
we have to
We
make
just
our decisions.
we applaud the courage it takes to be incarnated in a body on the planet at this time. We really, really do applaud that, and there is great power and great beauty in it. And many are are just raising their vibration and just ascending and doing their work, and other individuals are they're just simply done. It is not their cup of tea. It is too hard for them. They are not feeling aligned with it, and they will be leaving the planet because they need to still experience and learn from that duality, and they won't be able to return to the planet. So they will be gently helped home. That's their choice, to go to the light or wherever they choose to go next. Because we're all the master creators. We just create our reality. So going back to your earlier point about seeing it as a game or as a simulation, what I'm seeing happening is it's like there's more and more different levels and different versions of the game or the simulation going on. So there's many, many, many new Earths. There had been a lot of talk about new Earth with the end of the Mayan long calendar back in 2012. And at this point, a lot of people have forgotten about it. But you really are creating your reality. So just do your best to be in joy, to be living your purpose, to be helping others, and take care of your beautiful bodies. Just the best food and the best water and the best drinks that you can have is just really important, because bodies they're temples. They're temples that house the eternal soul. And it's possible to live 50 years with good health. It's possible to live 100, 150, 200 or more. Those options already exist. It's not science fiction. Those options are already here, but that can sound very surprising to people. We're at this point where magic is really, really returning and being possible, but many people have forgotten that magic, like Mother Nature, we cannot control it, and it can be very, very messy. So it's just something that we have to respect, just like we respect what's beyond the veil, just like we respect what's around us in other dimensions and on other planets, because those veils are really thinning in every way as people are remembering more and more and trying to make sense of it.
Um, a question about what you said earlier is that some are not able to continue with the internal healing that's needed to rise into the fifth dimension. So when you say that they can't return to Earth, you mean they can't return to the fifth dimensional Earth? Is that
Correct. And Earth has raised her vibration to 5D. So that's an open question. I personally, speaking as Mary Magdalene, I'm not seeing an option for people to return to the planet Earth after they drop their body in this lifetime if they are still stuck in a 3D reality and duality and fear matrix and multiple issues like that. I do not see them as being born back onto this planet again, or being a walk-in by agreement to an existing body that's where the soul's going to go home and the soul's going to walk in. So because Earth has raised her vibration. There's many other places they can go. You know, there's easier planets. There's beautiful water planets. You know, there's still places to go and have experiences, and for those souls to grow and progress. But many just do not want to return or are not capable of returning. And we have a planet that is overpopulated. So things are balancing out.
But now, so as they do evolve and they do move into a fifth dimensional alignment, will then they are able to, incarnate in a later date to a fifth dimensional planet such as Earth.
Yes, anything is possible.
Okay.
Yes.
I just want to
Yes.
put at ease, some people who may be afraid of losing their loved ones and never being reunited with them, on the physical plane.
Yes, and we do need, I don't want this to sound harsh, but we do need to let go of attachments. And if people are struggling with, well, oh my goodness, what will I do if I can't come back with my same spouse or my same child? I'm here to tell you that is very likely to need to be stirred up, shaken up, changed for you. And that will happen as you progress and as you move on to the other side and see the bigger picture again, because we'll use a school example. You're ready to move into your junior year of college. You're very capable of it. It's time for you to be doing that. That's the best progression for you. But two of your best friends are struggling. Maybe they're goofing off, not taking it so seriously, and they're not going to pass on to the next grade. Is that really in your best interest? Is that really the right thing for you to do, to now blow off a year of college and to purposefully not attend class, not do well on your exams, and not move forward? Is that really appropriate? Are you so stuck in those relationships, or feel you need those relationships? I think that requires some self-examination.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. That's a wonderful example. And what I also believe in and tell people is that don't worry about anyone else. When you do your work, that your connection with them, they begin to feel that, and they can become inspired and lifted to the point of, well, maybe they can.
Yes.
I think, gosh, all of a
Be
sudden
the
I'm
way
beginning to
shower, shine your
feel.
light. Please do
Yes,
not put it under a barrel.
yes, yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Everyone
Great.
needs it. It's so, so needed. Please
Hmm.
be the best you that you can be. And yes, sometimes friends and relatives will fall away, and you just may need to let them go. Feel the sadness or the upset or the understandable human emotions of that. But certainly you're not meant to judge them, and just let it be, and you will align again with more like-minded friends, and lift each other up again. And some of those others may come back into your life, when they catch up and do the work that they needed to do, because perhaps it came from your example, as you said.
Hmm. Yes, yes. Well, and we're shifting. Everything that we are doing is shifting the energy in mass consciousness. So again, I feel that us as individuals, we are incredibly powerful, and that we certainly do affect all levels of creation just through our own choices. And
Yes, the ripple effect, those dominoes just falling out in every direction from the small choices you make.
yeah.
It's really pretty profound. So just try and love yourself first. Lucille Ball had a lovely quote about that: to love yourself first, and then everything else can fall into place. And yes, sometimes things have to fall apart to come together in a better way. And it's not fun going through those hard things, whether it's the health crisis or the estrangement, or the people that you care about falling away, or the quote job loss, or the car collision, or whatever it might be. But sometimes we do go through that shake you to wake you process, because it's just what's needed. And don't feel that you're being punished or not cared about and not deeply loved and respected, because you absolutely are.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you so much. I think that is an excellent point, is that sometimes everybody needs a little tough love. And, if you're so, and when that does happen, I think that our own soul and spirit is in agreement with that, because, our
Yes.
higher self knows where we're supposed to be going. And so we get our kicks, and the people that will give us those kicks if we need it. So
Yes. So just call on your sense of humor. Realize, yes, souls can plan some very ambitious lifetimes, meaning a lot of challenges in them, and just do your best to ride the wave, rather than having it just smack you in the face and drag you under in the undertow. Do your best to just graciously go with where you can feel the energy pulling you, and you've got new interests and doors seem to be opening. And try and let go of those doors that are closed for very good reasons, because they're not for you. You've outgrown them. Just let go, and be gracious with the change and go with that new flow. And just try and embrace some of the fun and the surprises and the magic.
Mhm. Thank you. Thank you for that. I think it's important to focus forward, especially now. As we mentioned, the media and all of that, I think they're trying really hard too, to just kind of keep people in that point of separation and fear, very hard. And so, I think that unplugging and taking care of self and looking forward to the adventure that's opening. Um, you know, I also had a question, and I don't know if you can really answer it. But how, where is humanity as a whole along the ascension process into 5D?
There's a great variety. Many people have aligned with their higher self, transmuted their karma, opened their Kundalini life force, done the different things needed to raise their vibration, and they simply weren't conscious of it.
Oh,
They just couldn't answer those questions for you, what
okay.
that's all about. They simply don't relate to it.
Mhm.
Whereas many others, light workers, love workers, people who've just kept that knowledge or who have reawoken to that knowledge are very aware of it. And some of them very consciously have moved up to 5D or are completing that process. And once you're at 5D, the world really is your oyster, meaning you don't have to go sequentially anymore. Wendy's worked with lovely clients who have moved up to 7D and they're still here in a body. It's not like they go poof and they're just sucked up into the sky. They're still here in their body, but they're working with the angels um, pretty much full time while still here in a body. And she just worked with her first client who consciously moved up to 12D. And 12D, the 12th spiritual dimension, being home to the archangels, the ascended masters, Pan and the nature spirits, benevolent galactics. And that client was able to stick her landing, like a beautiful gymnast routine. And she landed during the session at 12D and was able to just maintain that since then.
Mhm.
So there's people who are working from the 32nd dimension. It's just there's there are many helpers here. There are many people who came to this planet to remember at a specific time and place that they're to share a certain gift, a certain ability, a certain message. It's kind of like trying to remember the term for it in people might relate to in reading. If you're reading a really good thriller and there's like a sleeper, and that person just doesn't realize and they're suddenly activated and they
Mhm.
just didn't realize, oh my goodness, I know this other language, I have this amazing ability. Pay attention to your dreams, for instance. Keep a dream journal. Do whatever spiritual practice is helpful for you to get to know you and to just love and accept yourself and stop looking for that external validation. We've got, the epitome of that with the influencers. And, again, it's just creating the duality
Mhm.
in that. So, there's that like ultimate degree of that. And just love and approve of yourself and just be doing the best you can every day and just surround yourself with the uplifting people. And if they're not there right now, that's okay. We can spend some quality alone time too and still be doing our work and then be really ready when we do get back into community because the community will come.
Good, good, good. So, and thank you for all of that. So overall, humanity is doing all right.
Doing a lot, yes, just doing a lot. And again, we're just seeing some really pretty extreme contrasts right now in that messy middle. So as you said, to just do your best to be as kind and as loving as you can, but also you've got to have your own excellent boundaries. That's part of discernment, and just know what not to get involved with, and just don't put energy into it. Just let it be, and just move away from that energy, because it's nothing to do with you, and you're not meant to be fueling it.
Wonderful. Here's another. So a lot of people want to put a timeline, or when is the ascension going to be complete? That type of thing. What would you say to that? Is there an expiration date?
I don't see an expiration date. I see it as this never-ending, beautiful process. And that is not meant to be exhausting. That is not meant to be that you've done anything wrong. But picture yourself as a wonderful mountain climber. And you start off with, these simplest little hills and valleys, maybe as a child or as a young person, and maybe it's only 1,000 feet, and then you're doing the 7,000 foot, and now you're at Kilimanjaro. Well, if you just love climbing, are you going to be happy? There's no more wonderful mountains to climb. I think not.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful, wonderful. Well, thank you so much for all this information. And I think we're going to have to kind of wrap this up a little bit.
Yes, we will bring Wendy back in, and thank you so much for having me as your guest. It was absolutely a pleasure.
Before we go, are there any last words that you would like to share with our audience?
Yes, love yourself first, and really, really take great care of yourself, and everything else, just that self-love, that self-acceptance, that's going to bring you that peace and that joy. So do the inner work, and then you're able to just mirror that out. And when you find that peace, and you really balance up your own divine masculine and your divine feminine energy, because everyone has both. When you get those balanced, that's how we're going to just ripple out that wonderful effect of peace on earth. It absolutely is attainable within this lifetime. There is, just like a scale, when there's more than 50, or a teeter-totter, when there's more than 50%, that balance has already been tipped. The peace energy is here. The love and the joy is here. So just keep serving that to yourself, whether you picture it as your meal or your movie. Just keep bringing that into yourself.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, well, I can't wait to hear this recording, because of course I remember some of that, and a lot of it I don't.
Okay. Well,
so thank you so much, Carolyn.
Yes, thank you, Wendy. Thank you. And you have any parting words for us?
I would just like to, I did hear clearly what Mary Magdalene was saying at the end, is please don't feel selfish to just really do your own work and just work on loving and accepting yourself, because you cannot get that self-confidence, that self-respect, that self-love. You can never get those externally, because the word self is right there in front of it. It's got to come from within. Yes. So no one else can, fill your gas tank up for you if you have just run yourself ragged into the ground. It's not someone else's job to take care of that for you. We've got to just love and respect ourselves. A lot of good will come from that.
Yes, I absolutely agree. I teach the same thing. It's paramount. It really is. So, well, Wendy, thank you so much for coming on this show again. And thank you, Mary Magdalene, for all the wonderful messages and information that you also provided. So, if anyone would like to contact Wendy, I will have her contact information also in the description of the video and the audio. So I'm sure Wendy would be more than happy to assist you.
Absolutely. My pleasure. So yes, please just visit my website, which is my full name, wendyrosewilliams.com.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And to all of you, I wish you all abundant blessings.